Welcome to Post Office Road, the home of Featherstone Rovers, for this rearranged midweek fixture against Wigan. But with me before the game, I've got the Rugby League's controller of referees, Mr. Fred Lindup, MBE. Fred, congratulations first of all on your award. I believe you were at the Palace yesterday to receive it.
Yes, it was a very pleasant experience and something I shall remember all my life. To be handed a medal by the Queen personally and shake her hand and talk about rugby league finals, which I did with her because she was interested that a mother, in fact, or the Queen Mum, did present my first medal in 1980, which was very, very nice indeed. And what made it more humorous to me and more poignant for tonight is the fact out of 200 people in the Palace waiting for the medals, I ended up with a Wigan fanatic, which was Stuart Irwin from Bolton, but he was born in Wigan, and all he wanted to talk about was Wigan Rugby League Football Club.
Well, they are fanatical people, you know, Fred, and there'll be a few here tonight.
I agree, but very few perhaps been in Buckingham Palace and discussed Wigan Rugby League Football Club, which happened.
Well, there'll be a few here tonight, as we've said, but your job as controller of referees is quite an involved one. You've taken over part way through the season, and how far are you going and where are you going to?
It's a good question, Alan. Basically, because I've started mid-season, it makes it much more difficult to implement any new ideas, so you have to do it carefully and quietly. And that's what I feel. And so I've been doing that the last 6 weeks, plus much organisation needed doing behind the scenes because there just wasn't any. So I've had to do that stealthily. But the major implementation is the start of 3 schools of excellence based at Lee, Whitehaven and at Featherstone for all the alliance referees. These are the reserve referees, where I can monitor the performance for attitude, fitness, knowledge of the rules, use of video techniques and situations, and it's gone down fantastically well. And this, I feel, is the future for referees, where they can be viewed, put right, and put on the right path, and then fed into the first-class game.
The use of videos, of course, has become very important in the coaching of players, and coaches use them quite avidly. But you use them also to highlight refereeing situations.
Yes, I have a camera, and I will video the referee himself. It's a boring job, I found, because I can't watch the game. I'm just watching the referee. But it tells me his signal performance, his scrummaging techniques, his play the balls, his position on the field at certain times. And it gives me his all-round performance, and it's proved quite fruitful because I started it purely by chance, and it's certainly something worthwhile, and I shall pursue it until I've videoed all referees, in fact, and we can have a chat about the performance, and it's proving very, very fruitful indeed.
And of course, you've seen Wigan play before. What is your opinion about the rugby being played at the moment, and particularly the Wigan side?
The rugby in First Division is nothing short of fantastic now. I think we're now Sydney standard, which is the yardstick for the world game. The Wigan club, people talk about their attacking prowess, but I've seen them 4 times this year, and undoubtedly the major contribution I've seen is their defensive prowess. I saw them played off the pitch by Halifax at Wigan when Greg McCallum refereed, and defensively they were superb. I think they're going to take a lot of beating by any club. Come the day and their attitude mentally is right, it's going to take a good team to beat Wigan, I'm afraid.
The team used then, the Wigan half-backs and 3/4, the same as that appeared at Oldham on Saturday in the Challenge Cup. But in the forwards, Brian Case makes a welcome return after that long injury to that calf muscle. And on the bench there at 14, Ian Gildart. The Featherstone side's got a few changes from the team that lost at St Helens. But there at scrum half is Derek Fox, the former Great Britain, number 7. And Jeff Gratian, the veteran there at number 8. Peter Smith, the long-serving servant here at Featherstone, is at loose forward. Robin Whitfield signals the play to start. 2 teams, of course, which played in the quarter-final, and that has gone dead, so that's going to be a penalty to Featherstone in the middle of the field. It was certainly touch and go, but the touch judge on the near side was in position, just over that line by a matter of inches there. So straight away the advantage going to Featherstone from the kick-off. The conditions here tonight, pitch in excellent condition. It's a small ground here at Post Office Road. Featherstone working one of their set moves as Derek Fox takes that ball round the wall of forwards. Dennis Betts well in there, good tackle, but it's gone backwards, says the referee. So just inside the Wigan 22, and Featherstone moving it wide, looking for players, but Alan Banks not finding his centres there. Alan Banks in, of course, for the injured Graham Steadman. And there's the old man of rugby league, Jeff Gratian, but still a fine player and dangerous close to the line, of course. Great play there from the hooker. Trevor Clark, a good support play on Glenn Bell. There's the overlap on that side, but Fox decides to kick, and that's gone far too deep. Even on the last tackle there, Wigan had been stretched on that right-hand side. But to no avail. Adrian Shelford taking it up. And one thing you know you're always in for when you come to Post Office Road is a hard physical battle up front. And certainly Wigan have had one or two of those lately in the games against Bradford, then Warrington, and then finally Oldham. Ellery Hanley, but tackled by Peter Smith, a formidable opponent. Peter, been injured over the last few years, but hopefully back to full fitness for Featherstone. Well, Paul Hughes getting back and running across in front of his post, but the Wigan line is up there, and the two second row forwards very close together, Dennis Betts and Andy Platt. So with that kick from Sean Edwards pushing Featherstone back into their own territory, we've now got the game transferred to the Featherstone 22. Lost possession. Has that been lost again by Kevin Iro? Yes, indeed it has. So the knock forward first of all by Featherstone, and a chance of a move from the scrum as Hampson replaces Hanley at loose forward. So whether that's a planned move from the Wigan backs, we shall wait and see. Gregory feeds, yes it is indeed, as Hanley comes into the line. And Edwards feeds him. There's an overlap on that side. Lydon feeding Iro, but Iro taking the ball at half pace, and therefore quite easy to be tackled as he drifted across the field. Shelford sucking in defenders there as three Featherstone forwards come round him. Now Gregory spinning it wide, the half-back's working there, but there's no overlap. It's 3-2, and Kevin Iro can't break the tackle. So Edwards back in position there, putting that high kick up in the air. Everybody's onside. Hampson goes for it, and it's still in play. Betts on that left wing. On the last tackle now. Wigan in an excellent position as Gregory decides to kick this down. That's another perfect kick. There's Tony Iro coming in. Oh, that was ever so close. Almost a try for Tony Iro. Fraction away from it. Well, two fine kicks from the Wigan halfbacks have put pressure on Featherstone. That sort of precision kicking, winning possession from the Edwards kick first of all, and then Tony Iro just failing under the post as that ball was drifted across by Andy Gregory. Well, Glenn Bell, who's had one break already, is proving a bit of a handful for this Wigan pack. As Fox works the move close to his forwards, and there's an overlap on this side. Tony Iro comes in. Fox on the last tackle. He's the kicker in this Featherstone side. Dean Bell has come back, and it must be a pleasure to play on a surface which is a little bit responsive to the footwork after that display at Watersheddings with 3 inches of snow on the ground. Post Office Road pitch looking in prime condition tonight. Good for football. But the Wigan set move as Lydon comes and belts that ball downfield. Nigel Barker tries to run round Ellery Henry and Kevin Arrow, but no way forward there. Well, that's rather loose ball, and it has been lost, but it's been regained by Featherstone, so perhaps a little bit too ambitious in their own 22. Here we can see in front of us, down at the bottom here, Nicky Kiss just jogging back into play. He's been having some treatment for an injured arm from physio Keith Mills. So the scrummage is waiting. And there goes Nicky into the scrummage. Another well-won ball, and Wigan have got a chance outside as Edwards cuts back inside and Alan Banks bings off the tackle. So Featherstone hanging on. The defence is pretty watertight at the moment. There's the run-around move and the big ball out from Gregory. This could be a try on the left wing for Hampson. If he gets it, he is indeed. Oh, that's a well-worked try from Wigan for Steve Hampson. It was that run-around move between the half-backs and that beautifully timed pass there from Andy Gregory, hitting Dean Bell with Steve Hampson overlapping on the left-hand side. Oh, the kick from Lydon near to the touchline. He struck that ball well. He struck it ever so well. It's a beautiful kick from Lydon. That's 6-0, and as I say, just over 7 minutes play. But unfortunately, we've got a substitution. You can see number 15, Andy Goodway. He's come on for Nicky Kiss. That's a fine kick from Featherstone. And Tony Arrow and Andy Gregory not getting their act together at the back there. That bounced just a yard in from the touchline. So Andy Goodway has gone straight in as hooker. And that's obviously going to be a problem for Wigan in terms of possession at the scrum. And Tony Arrow taking the pressure off the forwards there, linking from the back of the scrum. Shelford pushing off Chris Burton there, a fine strong run from the New Zealander. And again, using the slope and that little wind to push the ball downfield. It's gone over Nigel Barker's head. But everybody played on side there because Nigel Barker played the ball with his foot. That put everybody back on side. And the possession has been lost again, so Featherstone, perhaps their own worst enemy at the moment, inside their own 22 area, making too many mistakes and giving the chance for Wigan possession. Well, that came out of the tunnel virtually straight out, but it was play on, says Robin Whitfield. Well, Featherstone relieved to have possession from the Andrew Gregory feed. So as you can see, we've got one or two bits of things in our way here at Post Office Road. Like 20-foot concrete blocks holding this up. But it is a magnificent stand, and certainly better than the one that was burnt down a few years ago. Good interplay there from Featherstone, but the Wigan defence recovering well. Well, obviously there is some moisture about, and Hampson finding a damp spot on that side as Dean Bell runs across the Featherstone defence. Back for Featherstone at 14 points to 8. That quick kick, and it's knocked forward, says the referee, so play on. And Hanley up very quickly there, and Lydon. Leiden winning possession there, and a chance on that far side as Edwards and Bell combine, but good defence once more from Featherstone. Well, the long spin pass from the two half-backs, and there's an overlap on this side for Wigan, but the momentum slightly slowed down there as Hanley had to take that ball at half pace. Gregory finding the gap and linking with Hanley, but Hanley losing the ball. Now that is a strange occurrence there. Beautifully created by Andy Gregory. Well, the old man getting onto his feet there. Jeff Gratian has played his part already in this game, but Featherstone still living dangerously there. But that, the dummy there as Leiden bought it, but Featherstone still recovering there as Fox tries to go straight through Bell. And not liking it, but still it was a fair shoulder tackle. But Tony Arrow gathering well and looking for gaps. Powerful run from Shelford there, but good defence on Featherstone's part. They've certainly worked well together in defence. Their line movement up has been good. That's another high tackle there from Burton. And certainly, if there's ever been a failing in Chris Burton's play, it's his inability to keep those arms away from opposing forwards' heads. A notorious high tackler. And Mr. Whitfield is saying, that's enough. I'm going to give you 10 minutes in the sin bin. Have a think about it and come back and play some rugby. Joe Leiden with a very similar kick to last time, and he stroked that one wide this time though. The crowd behind the post, mainly Featherstone, so that's gone to the right hand side, and the score remains at 14-8. So the dropout from the 22 by Paul Hughes. That's a fine deep kick which Joe Leiden's taken well. In fact, it was Andrew Goodway who took that one, and that's Andy Platt taking that one. So two great runs there from the Wigan second row forwards. Now the wide move, and there is Tony. Kevin Iro looking for space with Tony outside. That's a forward pass. Andy Platt looking askance at the referee, but it was certainly forward as far as he was concerned, so that's going to be a scrum down. And a chance for Derek Fox to feed the scrummage. The pause you could hear was for the referee going on the floor. But Featherstone have won possession. Peter Smith meeting that brick wall there of Andy Platt and Adrian Shelford. There's Gratian running into another one with Brian Case and Dennis Betts. Banks brings it inside to Chris Bibb. Of course, Chris Bibb normally a full-back for Featherstone. Played for the Great Britain under-21 team and Youth International. Good interlinking there between Hampson and Tony Iro, but Featherstone moving up well on that Fox kick. Again, Wigan moving it wide, and Ellery Hanley, we've not seen a great deal of looking for space and putting a great ball out to Kevin Iro. Links well with Tony, and it's still in play. Good interplay down this right wing by the Wigan trio. Now Edwards with the kick across. Oh, that's all right, says the referee. The referee has got his arms up in the air. I think Edwards has retaliated, but play's gone on. That's Hanley tackling Featherstone over the line. I don't think the judges or the referees have seen anything of the second incident, but certainly the tackle was high and it seemed to be late. So play goes on, and Goodway again collects well at the back. A fine break from Dennis Betts from acting halfback, seeing the gap and going for it like a thoroughbred. Now the run around, Hanley in the gap. Hanley's going to score. A try for Ellery Hanley. Wigan had stretched Featherstone on that left-hand side, and then the ball moved wide between the two halfbacks, and that beautiful pass for Ellery Hanley into the gap, no cover behind. A try for Ellery Hanley to make it 18 points to 8. So Lydon lines up the kick, kicks that well. That's another 2 points. So 20 points to 8, Wigan in the lead with just about 5 minutes left before half time. An awkward bouncing ball for Tony Iro, but recovered well. Featherstone, of course, still down to 12 men with Chris Burton off the field. Brian Case keeping those legs pumping and driving forward. Good yardage from the number 8. So that's play on there. And links with his fullback Nigel Barker, but ever so dangerous, and that's probably one of the failings of Featherstone in this half, that they've perhaps been a little bit too ambitious in moving that ball in their own 22. There's the typical burst close to the play the ball and the link with the supporting players. Not quite coming off that time for Featherstone, but certainly posing some problems for this Wigan defence. Carl Harrison, who's a big second row forward, linking with Alan Banks. Good cover though from Wigan on the last tackle. Fox kicked that through, but Bell picked it up well. And fires a spade. Lovely footwork from Dean Bell. Can Gregory find some openings? He's jinking around, looking for space, looking for runners. But Featherstone have regrouped in defence, close to the play of the ball. Sean Edwards just slipping there as he changed direction. But that's a penalty, says Robin Whitfield. It was Andy Goodway who ran forward too early. Not back 5, he's saying. The penalty to Featherstone and a chance for 2 points. Certainly he was moving very quickly. And Robin Whitfield also thought he must have been moving too quickly. In injury time, lining up this kick, this would bring it back 2 more points. If he does, it is indeed. It's 20 points to 10. He struck that well. There goes the half-time hooter. A half not without incident, but the second half, of course, Wigan will be up the slope and against this slight wind, but they're leading at half-time by 20 points to 10. Derek Fox restarts the second half. Fine kick to the corner, but Tony Iro picks it up. And there, you just seen picture a moment ago, was Ian Gildart. He's come on as a second half substitute. It was Andy Gregory who came off the field at half time hobbling. So obviously some slight injury there. Hope not too serious. But Edwards will take over at 7, I'm sure. And Ellery Hanley will come out to 6. So once again, that tactic of getting that ball back to the siege gun kick of Joe Lydon, and that's put Barker under all sorts of pressure. So the tactics haven't changed, certainly with the kick. And with a player of Lydon's ability, that 60 yards means a fantastic difference. It's Wigan going forward and Featherstone having to track back, way back to their own 22. One or two bone-crunching tackles there from the Wigan trio. Fox looking for support, but nobody there and having to go on his own. So the hooker, Trevor Clark, takes over the kicking. Dean Bell, who's such a strong player, almost getting through Alan Banks' tackle. Gratian having to come in to finish the job off. Platt running wide and getting away from Chris Burton. Oh, this is beautiful play from Wigan. As it forward, the referee's blown the whistle. So that last chance just spoiling the situation for Wigan. Beautiful interplay out there on the right-hand side. Kevin linking with his brother Tony. But that final pass to Sean Edwards just going forward. It was Featherstone who hung on to St Helens for quite a long time last Sunday with playing football like this, but they're perhaps showing the fact that they've made mistakes, but the referee allowed play on from what really was a knock forward there. There's the powerful bell linking with Clark. That's good play. A try once more for Trevor Clark. Glenn Bell it was who hit that ball up very aggressively. And then a beautifully timed pass inside to his hooker, Trevor Clark. And that has really put the cat among the pigeons at the start of this second half, reducing the score to Wigan 20, Featherstone 14. Well, a simple attempt at the conversion, but he's pushed it wide. Well, that's a let-off for Wigan, winning now by just that 6-point margin. Joe Lydon pushes that ball deep there, and well picked up at the back there by number 5 Ian Smales, not risking the knock on. Well, that's enterprising rugby from Featherstone, really moving that ball quickly and moving it wide, but perhaps not quite having the pace to create any chances on that overlap on the left-hand side. Well, that's gone forward, said Mr. Whitfield, so perhaps a little inconsistency there. Certainly a moment ago we thought the pass had gone forward and allowed play on, and that one looked certainly to have gone backwards. But he's in charge, and it's his decision. Wigan win that ball well. So a mistake between the two arrows there, giving Featherstone possession. Fox switching the direction, there's an overlap on that side, and Smith has seen it, beautifully linked inside to Paul Newlove. So Featherstone really got their tails up now. Burton running across the field and losing possession. So the overlap was there, but Chris Burton it was, back from the sin bin, running across the field. Dennis Betts, who spotted one or two little gaps here and there and has made some telling tackles in defence. Lydon putting another huge kick upfield and it bouncing back there quite straightforwardly for Nigel Barker. But it's Featherstone back once again in their 22, and these big forwards have had to trek 60 yards back to the play the ball. Penalty, says Robin Whitfield. Laura Hanley not getting away from the tackler. Wanting to have a chat about it, but Robin Whitfield smilingly saying, "You didn't allow him to play the ball, let's get on with the game." So the set move being called out there. Peter Smith and Derek Fox calling the moves, and there's the switch inside No way forward. And perhaps a slight change in tactic by Featherstone in this second half. They seem to have been more content to move that ball wider than they did in the first half. Most of their plays were close to the play of the ball in the first half. Now we've seen the ball moved at least through two pairs of hands. Grayson showing that ability he's had virtually all his career, the ability to offload in the tackle to supporting forwards. And certainly Trevor Clark looks to be a forward who's willing to support anything that goes forward. Well, that's a fine tackle there from Andrew Goodway and Ian Gildart. Fox will kick. Everybody on side. Hampson's come across, but Dean Bell picks it up. Well, the crowd appreciating Peter Smith's tackling there on the big man, but here's Ellery Hanley breaking away, looking for support, not quite getting it as Derek Fox brings off the tackle, but a fine break from Ellery there. Lydon finding space and running round Chris Bibb. There's nothing better than Joe Lydon in full flight, and that's a tantalising kick for Nigel Barker. Lydon appearing to be obstructed there, but getting away from Ian Smells eventually and putting pressure on Nigel Barker. So here's Featherstone moving it wide inside their own 22 and trying to stretch this Wigan defence. Oh, great play out there on that left wing. And Paul Hughes kicking through, but that's gone too far, I think. So the ball went dead from that kick, but a fine break from Featherstone. And now Wigan in possession, moving the ball out from their 22. That's a penalty to Featherstone. Robin Whitfield is pointing that he was holding on. I can't quite make out that decision, but everybody knows it's a penalty. In fact, I think it was the obstruction after he'd lost the ball. Aidan Shelford tried to pull back one of the Featherstone players when the ball was on the floor. Well, we've certainly seen some adventurous play in this second half by Featherstone. They've stretched Wigan on a couple of occasions already. Scored that one try through good support play. And Wigan would dearly love to score another try to put themselves a bit further ahead. They're just 6 points in front at the moment. And it's Featherstone who are doing all the attacking. And offloading the ball, but making one or two mistakes. So good defence from Wigan, moving it well there as Andy Platt makes the final tackle on Nigel Barker. So play on, says the referee, and Edwards trying to find some space, but too many Featherstone jerseys there. But a chance for Wigan perhaps to build up a bit of pressure now. Well, Shelford making the best of a bad job there as 4 Featherstone forwards come in. He still managed to stay on his feet as the big fella. Platt linking onside, inside with Sean Edwards there, but still no gap. Featherstone got their tails up this second half, certainly. Sean Edwards pushing that ball to the corner. That looks a fine kick, yes. I think that's going to be the first scrimmage of this second half. There has been an injury to Joe Lydon, who's gone out onto the left wing. Now Dean Bell is now in the centre. Well, the Featherstone pack have won that one well. And there's Banks taking that ball on the angle. And here's that distribution wide out again. But Newlove forced to step back inside. The Wigan cover is good though. They're able to shuffle across the field and pick out the runners. Working as a defensive unit against this Featherstone attack. And this time Kevin Arrow fills that gap on the last tackle. Derek Fox looking for position, but Lydon finding space and room. So on the halfway line, Edwards ordering the play, the two halfbacks working together. And Kevin Arrow making a hash of that one, and certainly things not quite going right outside there. And Featherstone gaining a little bit of confidence now. Edwards came in well there on Jeff Gratian. Fine tackle. But Gratian seems to have been injured. The referee telling him to take the ball off and somebody else will play it. They have done, and Featherstone carry on. Carl Harrison driving through close to the rut. Now well worked Featherstone move. Well, no way through there as the two Arrows combine in defence. But lost possession again. Featherstone tonight in their own 22 and occasionally in the Wigan 22 have lost possession and really given Wigan a breathing space, as they've done once more. Well, that's a chase for the ball, but it's been won by Chris Bibb, and he's got pace. The normal Featherstone fullback. Fox looking for runners, and there's Trevor Clark again. Joe Lydon well in on the tackle there. So Featherstone now, their second opportunity to build up some pressure in the Wigan 22. They're moving it to one another, but again making mistakes. But certainly ambitious stuff from Featherstone. Perhaps too ambitious at times for their own good. But delighting their home crowd, and certainly tackles like that will delight them as well. Perhaps one of the biggest crowds at Featherstone for some time here tonight, urging their men on. Wigan on the last tackle now. Joe Lydon banging that ball downfield. Barker only just succumbing to a fine Bell tackle there. Well, the game's certainly full of football. One or two mistakes, of course, but very adventurous play. And to my recollection, we've only had one scrum in the 20 minutes of this second half, so the crowd been treating to a non-stop action-packed half. And there's Banks looking for support, and who is it but the hooker again? Trevor Clark. He's scored 2 tries already, and he always seems to have a sniff for where the player should be. Featherstone in attack. Fox trying to link. That's gone off the Wigan player though, so it's back to once at the referee. Wigan desperate, running back in defence, and that's another penalty. Not in line with the play of the ball, and a simple 2 points. He's done the same again, exactly the same, from virtually the same position. He's pushed that ball to the right. Another breather and a let off for Wigan there. So the referee stopped the play there for the substitution. It's Sean Edwards who's coming off. In fact, it's Andy Goodway who's coming off the field. Andy Gregory has come back on, so obviously the injury to him not too serious. Well, the only question is who's going to play hooker now. But Gregory will have come on with a message. And it's up to Wigan really to try and get a try and create a little bit more breathing space. Well, again, Bell showing that fine distribution, and Clark showing that excellent support play. So on the last tackle, Featherstone with Fox kicking high and wide. Lydon takes it behind the line. In fact, it was Dean Bell behind that stanchion who knocked the ball over the back. So a drop out under the post it's going to be for Wigan. Barker takes securely at the back and links with Paul Hughes. So Fox, who's instigated a lot of the Featherstone play, setting Jeff Grosjean in motion there. But Grosjean unable to get rid of that ball in the tackle. Now getting closer to the Wigan line. The Wigan defence must hold on. There's Bell taking that ball aggressively forward. Here we have the last tackle. Back to Fox for the drop goal, I think. It looks good, it is. It's a 1 point special from Derek Fox, and that narrows the margin to 5 points, with Wigan leading by 20 points to 15. So, Lydon with the kick-off with just 17 minutes left for play here. The two young Wigan forwards there getting in on the tackle. Well, this is where Wigan would like to keep Featherstone here in this 22. Featherstone working their switches close to the play of the ball. But no overlap on that side and very little yardage gained. So on the last tackle, Fox will kick deep downfield. Not stretching Joe Lydon. Tries to run away from that Featherstone cover, but too many there, and not enough room for him to show his real paces. And that looked a high tackle on Dean Bell. In fact, it's Bell who's down, and the referee is saying get on and play the ball, but that certainly looked a high tackle as Bell's head was not back there. Now Gregory's put Kevin Arrow in a good position, and Hanley's in the middle supporting. Greg kicked through there, but Featherstone got back well, and Chris Bibb, normally of course a fullback, covering well. But a fine run from Kevin Arrow, linking with Ellery Hanley after that great Andy Gregory pass. Dean Bell has fortunately got back on his feet, but that certainly knocked his head back. And there Featherstone once again, lacking that control in vital situations, and giving Wigan a chance to win the ball back at the scrimmage. It's Andy Platt who's going to be the third hooker for Wigan tonight. Nicky Kiss, of course, off injured. The ball's gone out the far side, and Hanley has to drop on it. But the referee said that's gone straight through. Well, that's certainly been one, and that's a good scrimmage from Wigan. The pack staying on the feet. The overlap is there as Edwards looks for space and finds support in Dean Bell. Bell trying to find a gap to pierce this Featherstone defence. Now, the first time perhaps almost in this half, Wigan in a situation close to the Featherstone line where they can work something. Gildart driving away, so close now, 5 yards short of that Featherstone line. The Wigan supporters, those who've braved the Pennine journey, behind the post here. Edwards takes that ball from Gregory, but the gap closed quickly when Edwards met the brick wall. Gregory tries the drop goal. That looks good. That's over. That's back to the 6-point margin at 21 points to 15. So the referee stopped the clock as Glenn Bell has come off the field. He's had a fine, strong game. A lot of applause for the number 10. It's John Bastian, the number 15, to replace him. Hampson tested under the high ball almost for the first time tonight, but taking it well. And Kevin Arrow trying to support his brother from the back there as Tony drifted across the field. John Bastian getting into the act with the knee by the looks of it there, and Kevin Arrow not particularly happy about it. Well, Shelford being the ball distributor there as Dennis Betts hit that gap. Ellery Hanley losing that ball there. The scrum down from the Ellery Hanley mistake, with Derek Fox winning it at the back. So Featherstone desperate for a try to bring them back on level terms, working the set move there, close to the play of the ball, and still keep the ball alive. Banks, who's had a lively game at 6, not quite getting past Andy Gregory. So Featherstone running short of ideas there, but here's the last tackle, and there's Fox trying a long range drop attempt at goal, but that was way wide. Well, a complete mess there two people going for the same ball. Fox feed, the ball came out and Gregory got on it, but the referee, Robin Whitfield, says that went straight out, and certainly looked as if it did. It was kicked straight out of the tunnel. That one was won by Featherstone. Well, John Bastian, who's come on for Glenn Bell, a big, strong boy, but well tackled there. Fox selling the dummy. Fox is going to score. Fox has sold the dummy, shot through the gap. The Featherstone captain has added another 4 points to Featherstone. Well, it all seems so simple as Fox came back towards the acting halfback. But there the gap opened up, and despite Edwards' desperate dive, it was Derek Fox who went over to make the score 21-19 with only 10 minutes played left. Derek Fox has taken over the goal-kicking role. And if he kicks that one, scores will be level, but no, that's wide again, so 21-19 the score. So with barely 8 minutes left for play, Featherstone, I'm sure, ruining those missed conversion kicks at goal. And this is going to be a testing time for Wigan, this last 7 or 8 minutes. Well, the interplay from Featherstone, which at times tonight has been superb, showing once again there with that man, Trevor Clark, involved in the action again. But now on the last tackle, Wigan need to get possession as Fox kicks deep downfield, but Hampson almost having to just stand still and take that one. Well, the drive by Ian Gilmore forward there, some more yardage still. But that was a fine tackle from Featherstone. We've had one more drive from Dean Bell. Dean Bell looking injured there as Wigan worked that ball wide. Handley trying to find the gap, but no holes for him to go through as Featherstone desperately defend here against Wigan. Gregory deciding to kick. That's a fine kick, beautifully judged. And Ian Smells getting back to it and trying to run through Andy Platt. Not an advisable thing to do for a winger. And now the wide play from Featherstone, which they showed early in this first half, the second half. But Derek Fox, who of course when he played for Great Britain was a trier of the highest order, and they're eluding Kevin Iro, but eventually running into touch. So the substitution there, number 14, Martin Pearson on the field for Paul Newlove, straight into the centre. So a straight change as Wigan win possession from that scrimmage, and Ellery Hanley picking that ball up, but there's been very little room for Ellery tonight. Ian Gillard diving over the 22 as if it was the try line almost. And again the drive from acting halfback. Wigan content to push forward, get to that 22. Now they have the move wide out with the halfbacks involved. As Edwards works with Gregory and Dennis Betts hit it up, but Featherstone have covered well. Their defence tonight has been very satisfactory indeed. That time Tony Arrow, no space for him as Featherstone anticipated the long pass from Andy Gregory. Lydon in with the drop goal. That looks high, that looks wide. That's a fine kick from Joe Lydon. So the margin just 3 points at 22-19. Derek Fox eager to get on with the game. He's kicked that one, it's gone dead though. The touch judge on the far side has confirmed that fact. So twice in this game, the ball gone dead from the kickoff. And that's a penalty which Lydon could well have a go at from the middle of the field if he was in kicking mood. But no, it's going to be the kick for touch and retain possession. So with about 3 minutes left for play here, and Wigan just that 3 points in front, it's going to be safety first and drive towards that Featherstone line. So perhaps the coordination not quite. That's a penalty. I'm going to say perhaps the coordination not quite there with the hooker off the field, but certainly Robin Whitfield in no doubt about that. He'd already shouted hell. Then the ball was dragged from Adrian Shelford's reach. So that's going to be a chance for Joe Lydon to stretch the lead to 5 points. Lydon, right-footed, close in. That looks good. That's another 2 points. So Wigan winning by 24 points to 19. So almost up to full time, into injury time, and any time that's been allowed on by the referee. Wigan will keep possession here, they won't make any mistakes, and then hopefully will kick for position downfield. So safety first rugby, and Gregory slotting in at acting halfback there with Lydon at the back. So the last tackle, Lydon in position, right-footed, picking his spot but finding Nigel Barker straight away. So can he make something out of it, the big Featherstone fullback? And the good thing as far as Wigan concerned is they've driven Featherstone back to their own 22. And they'll try and contain and just make sure that Featherstone don't make any breaks in this situation. But that's a penalty. It certainly was a sloppy play, the ball, but Robin Whitfield had no doubt about it. Brian Case and the rest of the players on the left-hand side were offside, and a last chance for Featherstone. We've now into the second minute of injury time. Trevor Clark, the hooker, gets the game in motion. The set move wide out. Gregory very quickly on Banks. The hooter has gone. Wigan have won another 2 points in the league. Featherstone entertained, moved the ball wide, scored some very good tries. But in the end, it was Wigan who got the 2 points, with a final score of 24 points to 19. After that very close encounter here at Post Office Road, I've got the Featherstone Rovers coach, Peter Fox, with me. Peter, your lads played tremendously well, but just didn't quite get the 2 points.
No, we matched them for tries, and we didn't kick the goals that we should have done near the post. There's 2 clear-cut chances there, and I think had we got in front or got level with them, I think they were a bit out on the feet in the last 20 minutes of the match. We came back in the second half and really played them off the field, to be honest.
Yeah, you played very well. In the first half particularly, I felt you were very close to the ruck, and lots of intricate moves were close to the playing the ball, and you penetrated quite well.
Well, we've got some good forwards, and young Foxy is still the best scrum half in the business for me, creating play, and he opened Wigan up convincingly most of the time, got men running, and Clark had a super game at hooker. He really run Wigan riot. They couldn't hold him. He was taking the ball off belly and going right through. Scored a marvellous try to put us back into the game, and then Wigan were actually hanging on a thread.
The Challenge Cup just eluded you with that game at St Helens. You've actually played St Helens obviously last week, and you've played Widnes quite recently, and Wigan tonight. So you've seen 3 of the semi-finalists in close action. Now, what do you think about the 2 semi-finals coming up?
Well, I think they've gone the way that all Rugby League would want. They've given it a chance this time for Wigan and Widnes to go to Wembley and put on a super display for us. I would tip them 2 teams to go through. I do believe that Warrington have a chance against Wigan, except for the fact that I don't think they'll get their Australians back to play in the match. So Wigan should win that one. I can't see anybody, quite honestly, beating Widnes, although St Helens have run them close 3 times, and they need a bit of luck to St Helens to win, because I think Widnes are just about the best side in the league all round strength.
So it's going to be a Wigan-Widnes final for you?
That's what I see, definitely, yes, and a tremendous final then. And at Wembley, by the way, I did tip Wigan to win the John Player, and I did tip my protege, El Rianley, to pull the match for them.
Thanks for your comments, Peter Fox, about Wigan. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Well, from the Wigan point of view, we've got the fullback, Steve Hampson. Stephen, that was another hard game. You seem to have had a succession of hard games, and a very closely fought affair with you just coming through at the end.
Yeah, it was a very hard match against Featherstone. Obviously, like in the second half, they pushed us downhill, and the lads were a little bit tired. Like you say, they have had a few hard matches in the last couple of weeks, and they stuck it out well.
The physical side of it, obviously, is quite demanding, but Andy Goodway mentioned last week the mental side as well. Do you find that it is very difficult to get yourself motivated for so many games in such a short space of time?
It can be very hard to get yourself motivated, but you got to stick to it all the time and just work hard.
And as far as you're concerned, you're back and working hard at fitness and working towards hopefully a semi-final place, and then hopefully, of course, that elusive Wembley appearance. You're going to play this year, aren't you?
Well, I'm going to have a go. Obviously, like it is my main aim this year. We have got Hull KR on Sunday. That'll be my next match in my mind, and we've got a game before we actually play Warrington in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup. So there's 2 matches before then, and obviously, as you do know, I don't build my hopes up to Wembley. I just play game by game.
And of course, you'll be glad of a welcome break after the Hull KR. For the first time for over 3 weeks now, won't be having a midweek game.
Yeah, but knowing Lowy, he'll probably put us through a hard training session during the week, so it's not really easy at any time.
The sad thing about tonight's game, in a way, is that you've got so many injuries. I mean, you had Nicky Kiss off the field very quickly into the game, and I believe there have been 1 or 2 other injuries that have cropped up during the game itself.
Yeah, we've got Joe with a bad shoulder, Andy Goodway's got a bad neck. Obviously, as you saw by the match, we had 3 hookers that game, and there's little knocks, like a couple of us have got shin knocks, and Dean Bell's got a sore head, and but it will be all right.
Well, good luck to yourself personally, and of course, and Wigan for the rest of the games. And we look forward to seeing you in the semi-final, Steve, at least.
Thanks a lot.
As Steve mentioned then, the game on Sunday at Hull Kingston Rovers. So another trip over the Pennines into Yorkshire for the Wigan fans. But we hope you'll be there to join us at that game.